Welcome back to the Ghost and Friends YouTube channel. We are here with some friendly rivals. We're here with Mr. Aggie Report, Dave Meyer. Welcome back to the channel. As always, my guy Gage Sheets up here in your top right. How are y'all doing, guys? Everyone hanging in there?
Good.
Doing good, Cord. Wild day in the portal. Norman, OU stuff going on. But, yeah, beyond that, it's just kind of nice to get that quarterback, get the news out there. It's done so I can stop getting texts and DMs about what's happening and not. So, yeah, it's been a busy day, but I'm glad to have it wrapped.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a lot of fun, just waking up on a daily basis. And even if it's not a commitment, Aggie Report, checking in. Welcome back. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Just graduated from A&M just like 2 weeks ago. So doing solid, happy to be done with school.
A little bit of a peace of mind, no doubt. And so I've been in the same town as you for 2 months and still haven't seen you. So I'm going to have to fix that before I get out of College Station. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know I've just been so busy with the graduating stuff.
I get your priorities. I appreciate them. So college football playoffs, first thing on the docket, first game. You got Indiana traveling to Notre Dame. Is there a chance, in y'all's opinion, that Coach Sig and the boys can get it done in South Bend, Indiana? Huge game. I mean, super cool football. You have the feel-good story in Indiana. Gage, we'll start with you, buddy. What are your takes, thoughts as we get ready to watch that one?
Well, I think that there's going to be an upset in the first round, and I'm just not sure who it is because I don't think any of these lower-seeded teams really have a great matchup. But if I am going to pick one, I guess it would be Indiana. I think that, Indiana has had kind of a Cinderella run. They have something to prove, and I think that of the home teams, of the three higher-seeded home teams, not counting the Tennessee-Ohio State game because I don't really think that would be too much of an upset, but of those three other games, I think that this is the one that has the most potential for an upset. I like the way Indiana I think they're going to take care of the ball. I think they're going to force a couple turnovers, and I think Indiana is actually going to be the one, the shocking one this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like most people are, but I'm definitely rooting for the Indiana Hoosiers in this spot. I think it'd be fun for that story to continue. Rourke's a great player. Hopefully he's fully healthy, ready to go. Anything worry about you, Aggie Report, in this game? Do you think Indiana is are they setting us up to get in this big spot and just let us all down? Do you think the Hoosiers can hang with Notre Dame? Gage obviously believes that there's a chance. Aggie Report, are you down there?
Yeah. Sorry, I was about to text you actually. So if I don't answer,
okay,
it's just kind of like booting up. All good right now though. Yeah, I haven't watched much season. I have watched a little bit from the first game of the season, and then but I think I don't think offense is all that, and I do think Notre Dame's defense is good, but they will key pieces to injury, including one of my favorites in college football, Benjamin Morrison. They lost him oh God, I think it was around midseason. But I agree with Gage. There is going to be an upset in the first round. At least I hope there is. I think there is, but I'm also hoping upsets. And I'd say this one's probably the best spot for an up.
What about Dave? You agree with these two gentlemen here? Do you think Indiana has a shot to go in there and upset Notre Dame? It'd be a pretty big black mark on Marcus Freeman as far as, they didn't really necessarily go out and win a big game, outside, no offense to your Aggies, Aggie report. Schedule is really dang easy. And you lose to Northern Illinois and then, your neighbors down the road. Is there a chance, though?
Always a chance, and I agree with the guys that there'll be a first-round upset. I don't think this is it. It's going to be a tough chore to go into South Bend and beat Notre Dame. That atmosphere for this game, touchdown Jesus and all the stuff they've got for a playoff game. I mean, it's going to be tough. I wouldn't put it past Shanahan and the boys that they can play offense. I know they've got a lot of momentum, had a great season for Indiana football, but no, I don't think they go on the road and beat Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame that has one of the best defenses in the country. So I got to take the Irish to win, but do think it'll be a really good game and a close game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the spread that Vegas has put on it is, Notre Dame -7 there. Giving it up the touchdown, I think that's a pretty dang good number. I don't think Notre Dame's really explosive enough on offense. And maybe they prove me wrong and go out there and move the ball, because I didn't think Ohio State was very explosive on offense. And when Indiana came into Columbus, I mean, they couldn't stop them whatsoever. Now, Notre Dame, the defense versus Indiana's offense, that's what I want to see. I think we're going to see a really good scheme from Indiana. I think they'll scheme up some points. I still haven't really decided on the morning, so I'll decide pretty soon. But I will say I'll definitely be rooting more for Indiana than anyone else that's not burnt orange this weekend. And it's nothing against Notre Dame. I like Rourke. They're fun to watch. But I'd be more surprised if Indiana went in and beat Notre Dame than I would be from any other result this weekend. I'll say that, honestly. I'd be shocked if they went in there and beat Notre Dame. But hey,
what do you have to run like an algorithm here to come up with your prediction? Just lay it out there, man.
No, I can't do that. I always tweet my predictions out every Thursday morning, and it's great for my Elon bucks and interactions. Okay, I can't waste that. I can't waste those 120K views I get on that tweet right here on the show. We got 157 in here, but I mean, those Elon bucks are important. I need that $11.99 a month, man. That's important stuff. But all right, we'll move on. We're going to talk Mike G. Appreciate you being here as always, brother. Thanks for all of you guys in here. Kyle, Mike, Painted Posse, appreciate you showing your Aggie loyalty and being here to support Aggie Report. JP John Patterson, Christ, man. Thanks for being here, Josh. All you guys, like the video if you would. But Ohio State, Tennessee, I was surprised to see that Vegas has a bigger spread on this game than they do the Notre Dame-Indiana game. 8.5-point favorites are Ohio State. We're going reverse order. Dave, start us off. What are you thinking here? Does Tennessee have a good shot? I think we'll see a lot of defense here. What are your takes?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Tennessee with a top 5, top 10 pick off the edge with Pierce. I saw them up close and personal in Norman. They can straight play defense. I've also seen Will Howard in person when he was with Kansas State playing in Norman, now with the Buckeyes. And because of him and because of what I think his limitations are at quarterback, yes, I think Tennessee can play with Ohio State. That being said, I kind of see why the line is where it's at, right? Ohio State, Ryan Day, they've been here. They've done this. They understand what it takes to win these games. Josh Heupel, Tennessee, not so much. So if Nico can grow up pretty fast and they can get that offense rolling, I love their running game. They've got 2 backs that average over 7 yards a carry. They can make this a very interesting game, but I've got to go with the Buckeyes just because they'll be used to everything they see leading up to the game.
Yeah, that's a great point. They've obviously a big-time advantage when it comes to experience in these type of situations. Ryan Day has coached in a lot of these games even before he was a head coach. Aren't we all, brother? Aggie Report, the man. Ohio State, Tennessee. Is your SEC pride bleeding through here? You thinking the ball's going to Columbus in the cold weather, which has been a large topic of debate here on Twitter. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got to say, I don't know if Ohio State's going to cover, but I am going to pick Ohio State to win just because. But I think Nico and that offense is still a year. I don't think he's – I think they're explosive explosives come from Samson running the ball, and then Nico can hit the deep ball, and Tennessee absolutely like this game and maybe even handedly win this game. But I just don't think that that's going to happen because Nico hasn't really progressed all that much with the deep ball in season. So I'm going to pick Ohio State to win this one, but by like maybe 3 or 4 points. Yeah, should be a fun one though. That's a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm ready for that one, man. That's my favorite game of the weekend outside of the Texas game. SEC been filtered. Appreciate the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year wishes. And the fuck Clemson call. We gotta drop that in there. Merry Christmas to you guys, all of you. And I will say this, guys, whoever right now of you three, and the clean sweep in the semifinals, regardless of Christmas wish or not, it will not be forgotten. This might have to be redone, but I love you guys. Appreciate all the support and y'all being here. You made a really good point there, Dave. You report, both of you guys. The Ohio State defense. That's the thing for me. Against this Tennessee offense, going to commit to taking away Dylan Sampson. They're going to take the box or load the box the best they can. We'll see what Nico can do, but I think that Ohio State's a pretty big statement in this game. Sets Ohio State's offense up for a little easy success. You know what, Dave? You swayed me, man. We're gonna make picks right here. I'm gonna roll back before we get to you, Gage, on your call. I'm gonna roll back and I'm gonna go Notre Dame over Indiana by 4. A late touchdown for the Hoosiers to get the cover. But I'm going to say Ohio State takes Tennessee by somewhere in the 13, 14-point range. I think that defense is going to stand very, very tall. Very humiliating loss, losing at home to that Michigan team. And also, this line just screams ratty to me. Now, I am 0-3, as Danny, you and Calvin pointed out earlier today. It's all on that. But it's been Jackson State, and these are the real games. This is where the energy, the focus has been. Gage, what are your takes? Ohio State hosting Tennessee, half-point favorites.
Oh, I've been flip-floppy on this all week. I think I've stood pretty firm in the non-Will Howard camp all season. But I do have my concerns with Nico. I think his legs can play a huge part in this game, but I just also think Ohio State's defense is so athletic and so fast. I don't think that I think they're gonna be able to scheme to not let him get outside of the pocket. I think the reason I've been so flip floppy is I think Ohio State is the more mature, kind of better team going into this. And then I hear the athletic director for Ohio State, as Aggies would know him very well, come out and beg Ohio State fans to not sell their tickets to Tennessee fans. And that scares the living hell out of me because I know what it's like to kind of be in that situation of man, as a fan base, to have that sort of own doubt in your own team where they're kind of struggling. That's just a weird situation to be in. And that vibe that's just not a good vibe. And I don't want to go off vibes, but this is not a good vibe. I think it's going to be a tough-nosed football game. I think Ohio State's gonna. I have a problem trusting Will Howard, and I don't trust Nico certainly either. I'm gonna go Ohio State, but I'm 0% confident in that pick. I'm just gonna pick him. I would say at home, but is it really gonna be a home game? Who knows? So I'm gonna take Ohio State, but I don't trust Will Howard at all, and I don't trust Ryan Day at all. So I'm not very confident. It's just that game he's shooting off weird vibes, like you said, with the line, and the way Ohio State fans are acting about the game is really strange as well. So, yeah.
I mean, I get it. Ryan Day has had a knack for failing in the big moments. That fan base seems to be very frustrated. A lot of people that are saying it's title or bust for him as far as maintaining his job I've called him fraudulent. I hate to just be blunt about it, but I've called him fraudulent many times. It's the definition of what? Being born on third base. He had layups. He plays in not a soft conference. He plays a weak schedule up until, Oregon's coming to the conference and had a little bit of meat, but that's not a schedule They should never lose to Michigan at home. Not this 2024 version of Michigan. They've had a couple of bad losses under him. Obviously now in the playoffs, and that's what they're most frustrated about. Like, I get it, and I get why you would have issues like you, Dave, and trusting Will Howard. I'm going against my normal grain here. Can't stand Ohio State. I go against them as far as picking against them pretty often, and it's been because of Will Howard and Ryan Day. But I think that defense, and I get it, Mike. I get all your comments about them not beating an SEC opponent, and they are the posers. And I don't really like Ohio State by any means, but I just think this is a tough matchup for them. For Tennessee. And if he can't take a big jump here in these couple of weeks in the passing department, they're going to put a lot of hats on Dylan Sampson. And as great as he is, bottling him up makes it a lot easier. And so when they commit to that run game and Nico's having to beat guys with his arm, I would love to see it. It is what it is. I like Tennessee Twitter. I'll be rooting for the Vols this weekend a little bit. But as I said, I got Ohio State winning by double digits here. And I can't wait anymore. I need these bottom two gentlemen's opinion here. Texas, Clemson, 3:00 Saturday, Darrell K. Royal. Dave, does Dabo, can they hang with Texas? Do they have enough offense? Do they have enough juice? I'm giving you a shot here. We won't be offended if you rag on the boys a little bit.
Cord, you know what? I cover OU, try to be as objective as I can when I do it. And in that light, I watched OU Texas this year in the Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma has a very good defense. The back end has been a little suspect, but their front seven's pretty good. And I saw Texas dice them up on the ground. I saw Quinn Ewers do a really good game and manage the game well enough. I saw the Texas defense completely shut down a horrid offense that Oklahoma has. But I then saw that Texas defense do the same against Georgia. You guys should have won that game by 21 points. So in that light, no, I don't think Clemson can stick around in this game. I don't want to be the kiss of death here, but I just don't see enough out of that Clemson squad. I think it's playing in a very weak conference to make it here. It's them and Florida State, basically. And by process of elimination, they're the ones that gets to go play Texas at DKR. And I think it's going to be a bad deal for them. And I think Texas wins by double digits. Not going to be much of a game in the second half, in my opinion.
You know what, man? That's exactly how things need to play out for a somewhat stress-free Saturday for us, Gage and I, at least. I want to believe those same things. But first, I need to hear what an Aggie report has to say. I know you'll be hate watching, buddy. I know what you'll be rooting for. But what do you think happens?
Sometimes you have to follow an example. And this is not the first time a man of God has taken on evil with horns. Give me the real orange, the non-burnt kind, in God's name, image, and likeness, Dabo fucking Sweeney. Come on. He's going to lose.
Okay, if Clemson wins that game,
yes,
how to play out, though? Because it's going to be a weird game for the win. I'm not knocking Clemson whatsoever, but how does that happen? What kind of score are you going to see here? Because it would have to be something, I would think really low scoring.
Yeah, let's be honest. I don't think Clemson really has a chance. I mean, listen, I would love for a first round upset. I think, I just don't know. I think Klubnik has absolutely improved as a quarterback year to year. I think he's much better than he was when he started, but I still worry about him under pressure. I don't think he played. I mean, he didn't really play exceptionally well versus Georgia. First game of the season. Granted, that's first game of the season. But since then, he played South Carolina, and that was the only other pass rush that he really faced. That was pretty good, if I'm correct. Yeah. So I don't know how he's going to handle the Texas front, and especially on the road, I don't know if he's going to handle it that well. So I think Klubnik would have to play some hero ball for Clemson to win. But I just don't see him playing that against Texas's front, unfortunately.
Well, I do like the intro into that little 10 out of 10. The name, image, and likeness reference was incredible. I don't like that you think Texas has an easy time with Cade Klubnik, but it does make me feel somewhat better. I don't know. It's a weird deal.
I mean, listen, I'm 3 weeks removed from watching us score 0 points. So,
That's
I mean,
okay.
your front's legit, man. I don't think, obviously, Clemson's offense is a good bit ahead of where A&M's offense is, but I think as the first time I ever appeared on this show, I told you that the two most important groups in football are offensive line and defensive line. And I think you have them beat in both. So,
yeah, that's the big difference in my opinion as well. Gage, what are your takes? We'll go a little bit more in depth with you. I know you probably feel good about our chances here, but tell me where Clemson maybe can take advantage of Texas, and then vice versa, and who obviously has a better shot of doing so.
Yeah, I think that Clemson's going to have to money the game up. They're going to have to turn Quinn over. It's hard for me to see a path at a Clemson victory other than something like he said where, Klubnik has like this hero ball game. But I think the biggest discrepancy between these two teams is Texas' defensive line to Clemson's offensive line. Watching Clemson's offensive line, they're just not nearly as talented as some of the offensive lines that we've seen in the SEC and that we played very well against. I think Clemson's going to have to run the ball well. I don't really see that happening. I think, there may be a little juice at the beginning of the game, but I think we're just going to wear them down and push them over. And it's just going to be really tough for them to move the ball. And we're going to get them in third down situations where it's obvious pass downs, and we're just going to be able to come at them. And I don't think they're going to be able to block us. So, and then our secondary is obviously half our guys stick like glue. All of our guys really stick like glue. So I really like our chances. I think our defense is just a little too good. I don't feel as confident. I feel like I'm gaining more confidence as it's closer to the game, and I'm like really looking at Clemson and like, okay, there are areas that they struggle in that Texas can clearly take advantage of, and I don't think you see it in the opposite direction where it's like there's an area where Texas struggles in that Clemson's clearly better than. Maybe field goal kicking. I mean, we saw the dude hit like a 50-yarder to win the ACC championship, so maybe there. But I have a hard time believing that Clemson's going to be able to keep up throughout the entire game, and I think we're I think we're more physical. I think we're faster. It would take something pretty epic performance from Clemson's quarterback and their team overall, and like a pretty epic collapse, I think, on our side. So if Clemson does win, we definitely deserve the flacking that we will take on Twitter as a fan base because it'll be a pretty horrid performance, in my opinion. I just think that overall we're a much better team.
Yeah, we'd have to ban Aggie Report from the channel. That's almost a certainty.
Yeah.
Texas lost to Clemson.
No, you wouldn't. You'd have to let me on, man.
Yeah, I know. I've said this on the last show too, but in our preseason prediction show, I had Clemson winning the ACC. I called it a prove year for Dabo Swinney. Said it was this now or never really for them to prove they still, belong amongst that conversation as far as being, a top 4 or 5 program, being among the elites, national title contenders, all that. I don't like what they've done on the offensive line, and they don't really have the same level of cats as far as that interior defensive line that they've had during their national title years. But, I mean, Dabo's had more experience in this spot than Sark has. He is going to have his guys ready to play. I think that it would take a lot still, though, for Clemson to actually win the game. I'm not saying they can't hang around. Special teams worries me a little bit because we did see A&M block a punt. I don't think they netted any points off of that, but you'd have to ask Aggie Report down there. He remembers the game probably a little better than I do. Had better seats. But special teams, man, we can't allow – Dabo's going to have a trick on special teams. Thinking back, and Dave, you remember this very well, but the fake punt they ran in the Orange Bowl against Baker's, Sooner squad, that was a very pivotal moment in that game that really changed the complexion of it. Y'all had them pinned pretty deep, and then the next thing, it's like a 40, 50, 60-yard play. And so I know they'll look to take advantage of Texas somewhere, somewhere in the special teams games. They'll try to exploit something. Punting, it's been an issue. I really wish the transfer kid could line up and play for us right now. But Offensively, for Clemson, that's where they're going to struggle a lot. You know, Gage, you just named every reason in the book why they could and should struggle. Aggie Report, you talked about it too. That defensive line should have a field day with this offensive line as far as getting to the quarterback. Hopefully, they can get Klubnik on the ground because he is able to move around and look good with his legs. But I like Antonio Williams and Bryant Wesco a lot at wide receiver. I'm not going to like them this Saturday, but Clemson is, you know, it's not the same that they had back when they were winning national titles yet, but they are a lot more of a threat downfield than they have been in the last couple of seasons. And so I think Texas, you know, probably wins this game by 10. I'm hoping so. At least it's all going to be down to what Quinn Ewers does. We know what we're going to get out of the defense. We've only been to two different teams that have scored 20 points on us, and we know both times for the Georgia game, it kind of took somewhat weird circumstances, and Vanderbilt did it in the last half minute of the game to break the 20-point mark. So Quinn would have to struggle. You know, we would have to give up a couple big plays in the passing game to Wesco or Williams, but then as long as special teams can play clean and we play even in turnovers, I mean, Texas should have a chance to cover the spread, but we'll see. I'm definitely nervous about it. I mean, you guys on Twitter, I don't know if it's you, Aggie Report. A few of you like to point out that we haven't won a bowl game under Sark, and I can already hear the people saying, well, hey, it wasn't a bowl game. It's just technically the first round of the playoffs. And so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these don't have a, like, bowl name, right? Like, it's just first round?
Yeah, first round of the college football.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you even if you win, you still won't have won a bowl game.
Yeah. So, fair enough. And, you know, I know those people will be loud, and it'll be funny because it's good stuff, you know. And we're all about the good times on the old Twitter world. Thanks to the interactions. It's nice to have an off day. I've been active on Twitter today, and I've got a couple DMs where the guys are like, are you in a bad mood today? And it's just like, no, I've been bored. I've been waiting. And I also said on the last show with Gage that y'all are going to start putting some respect on our damn name because we're coming, okay? Dabo first, Coach Dillingham second, and then I want Dylan Gabriel. Dave, I need that rematch with Dylan Gabriel. I got to have it, man.
You know, talking about this game, though, against Clemson, just to back up one sec, I like Texas, but you brought up the point. I've got to bring it back up with Ryan Day, Ohio State, the experience factor. Dabo does have it.
He does.
He's been there and won at the highest level. He knows what that takes. You brought up the fake punt against Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. That single play turned the tide of that game. This guy knows how to make those calls. So if you're nervous about the game, of course you're going to be. It's the playoffs. This is everything. I think top to bottom, Texas has the better team, more talented team, not even a question. But Dabo being Dabo, just keep that in the back of your mind. So if it's close in the second half, I wouldn't really be surprised, man, because the guy's been there and done that. So just to give you a little bit of doubt for your copium heading into this weekend.
You know, man, I'm already stressing enough. I didn't need all that. But it's definitely in the back of my mind. I know Dabo has the experience. I just have this weird feeling, you know, that he comes out early with a couple of wrinkles. Now, that's the thing is, does he take advantage when he comes out with his wrinkles? You know, you saw Michael Hawkins there in the first quarter of that game on a double move. That's a guy, you know, pretty wide open there. You know, A&M had their shots. You know, can Texas's defense continue to step up, make plays? If they play their normal game, then, yeah, we just need Quinn to be Quinn. And I know there are a lot of different Texas fans' opinions based on when I asked everyone's confidence level today on which Quinn Ewers we get. But with some time off, time to heal, and then Coach Sarkisian in his ear, I feel good. I feel good. Now we're moving off. We're moving off Texas. We're going to the Glass game. Do we see another upset? Gage, you said we've had upsets, you know, so far, I think in every game except for ours, right?
Yeah.
Gage,
so far?
Yeah. So do you think SMU pulls off another one and have the chance to hang with Drew Allard, James Franklin, Penn State at Happy Valley?
This is kind of like the same thing. Like, do I really trust Penn State? No, but yeah, I just think being at home and it's going to be a good environment, even though they got their big noon kickoff at Penn State again. I think that their defense is going to be a little too physical for SMU. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I don't particularly think that this game is going to be close, to be honest. I think this is the one that might be the snoozer on Saturday morning.
How about you, Dave? You feel the same way?
For whatever reason, just cannot get fired up about this game, man. I think it's one that it's kind of like an afterthought. You'll check the score and be like, yeah, that's not what I thought, and then get ready for like the real football games later. I don't know why I feel that way. It's just kind of the vibe, isn't it, as we get closer to it.
I mean, I get it. Like, I was a big fan of SMU coming into the season. Also had them making the college football playoff, and I would like their chances a lot more if they still had their star tight end RJ Maryland. He's a player. Aggie Report, is your and SMU football 24 long enough for you to trust the Stangs in this game, or are you riding with the Nittany Lions?
Listen, SMU is a blue blood. All right, got it.
Got it.
I can't. I wanna go against the grain here and pick SMU. I do like Kevin Jennings. Think he's a really good player. I think Lashley is a good coach. But yeah, I mean, I understand the whole James Franklin hasn't really won a big game, and I mean, I don't even know what the record is at this point, but I think that's more like billboard material than actual like a predictive fact of a football game. I mean, Penn State's defense is legit. They're really good. I think I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but their offensive coordinator, Andy
Colwicky.
Big fan of him. And I think Aller has come a long way. So I really don't think I think it's going to be a snoozer too. But I'd love to see SMU win. I do like their story this year.
Yeah, Cord, let me go ahead and give my prediction too. I love SMU. I love Lashley. Of course, love the direction their program's going. They've got lots of money, and that helps nowadays. Their uniform is in the top 5 uni combos in the nation. I'm here for that. But I think Penn State, top to bottom, just has a better roster. Yeah, they're starting 11 on both offense and defense. But they're just better than SMU, and I think Penn State wins it. I don't have a lot of faith in old James Franklin. He hasn't really shown anything to give faith, but I'm going to take the Nittany Lions to win. But I will be pulling for SMU, no doubt.
Yeah, I hate to be real childish. It feels like from the trenches standpoint, SMU's going to have a hard time lasting for 4 quarters with this team. Now, part of what makes me confident about the Texas and Clemson game is I don't think the ACC overall is very good as a football conference this year. And SMU in the ACC title game, it was by a couple of mistakes, and they just got down a little bit early there. But I think Penn State could somewhat struggle to move the ball here in this game. A lot of experience on that SMU defense. That front seven is pretty dang good. I'm just saying, I'm not expecting them to win the game. I just think might come away surprised by SMU a little bit. I'm gonna give them a backdoor cover here in a relatively low-scoring game. We're going to go 24-17 Penn State. I think that Kevin Jennings is good enough to move, get down the field a couple times. I don't know if they're going to really have Penn State's going to make them go the length of the field. But he's played really, really well for Lashley, and I don't know. I like the SMU's defense. I really do. And then again, in big moments, that Penn State offense in the last few years is, they've had a little bit of lemon booty. They pucker up pretty hard. Don't score a lot of points. Didn't score 1 touchdown against Ohio State. That means nothing for their matchup this weekend at Happy Valley, hosting a home game. And for Penn State, I don't know. Not a big believer in Franklin either. I think SMU actually. Maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into caring about that game. Who knows? But again, I'm now 0-4 in the pick'em, so you need to consider that when listening to me about any of this. All right, so we've done a little bit of playoff talk. We've covered all 4 of those games. Not going to really talk into other bowls. We probably have about a half hour left, and these 2 gentlemen at the bottom have been very active here in the last week to 10 days in the old transfer portal. And so first, Dave, we're going to start with you. I want you to tell me your thoughts on the transfer portal. Is it fun? Does it need some contracts need to be in place? What are your thoughts there? And then talk to me about the couple of the Sooner addition from the transfer portal. Obviously, the big capper kind of being tonight and landing John Mateer at the State and pairing him with Arbuckle.
Yeah, actually, I heard from somebody within the program that Mateer was on campus Monday, pulled up, and then the last 2 days, a lot of stuff happened. Apparently, in North Carolina was a big player. Bill Belichick out there in Chapel Hill put together a big package and tried to get Mateer on campus, and I guess he thought about it, but in the end, ultimately decided to stay with Ben Arbuckle in Norman, and it's a good thing. I mean, look, this is it for Brent Venables. He has next year, and that's it. You got to win 8 to 9 games. I don't think 8's enough. I think it's 9 plus, or this entire staff is gone. So everything he's doing is to win right now, and he thinks John Mateer gives him the best chance to do that. And I've watched tape on Mateer. I like what I see. Kind of just style of play wise reminds me of Baker Mayfield a little bit, and don't think I'm comparing the two. It just when I look at him and what he does with his legs, kind of a swashbuckler. He plays with some swag. The only thing is he carried for 815 yards last year. A lot of carries for Wazoo. If you try that in the SEC with your quarterback, they're not going to be upright and on the field very long. So I'm real curious to see how Arbuckle kind of tries to ring that in. Not a lot of proven depth behind him in Norman, but it was very big that Brent got him at least. And the prevailing thought is that's going to kind of tip the dominoes. They still need an offensive tackle. They need maybe 1, 2 more wide receivers, a tight end. And, of course, now that they've got their quarterback, they can go to these guys and say, hey, we've got it going the right direction on offense. The defense was pretty good, should be pretty good again next year. So now you can come to this team and actually have something there. There hasn't been the last week at quarterback since Jackson went to Auburn. So that's on that. They needed it. They got it. Now what do they do? As far as contracts in the portal, everybody knows this thing it's out of control. It's broken. I don't like it as a college football purist. I do think, of course, the kids always have deserved something, but the way it is with no contracts, there's just not a lot of loyalty there. You don't know what team you're going to have from really 1 month to the next at the end of the season. So, yeah, I think there needs to be some regulation, maybe a cap. I don't know what the ultimate answer is, but as it is right now is very broken. And even OU fans, I know we're getting tired of this. Is he coming? Is he not? What other wide receivers are we? I mean, they've had 25 guys leave in the last 2 weeks or since the portal opened. So, yeah, there needs to be something done. What I can't tell you. Contracts would probably be a good start.
Yeah, I think eventually there has to be some type of contract put into place. It's just insane out there right now. I mean, you're talking about a free market where schools are coming up with insane packages, and you talk about what A&M offered Micah Hudson, and things are just really crazy out there. And so I could not resist that after everything that's been going on. All the fake posts.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna drive him personally to practice.
I knew it was you. I mean, realistically, we all know he got like 5 times that amount, so I don't even know why. Right, but to address Dave real quick, and good points on all of the Dave. I'm gonna be honest, Dave. In the last 2 weeks, I've been really disrespectful when I think about your program in my head. I'm telling myself there's no way Venables lasts. I think it's an idiotic move that he's back this year, and this is all in my head. Okay, I'm not saying it out loud. And there's another side. And then I started looking at it, and I'm like, okay, hey, Deion Burks comes back. I think that's huge. Deion Burks is a good player when he's on the field and playing. And then you're like, okay, well, you held on to Fasucci, and Fasucci's going to play immediately. Like, he's that good. He's going to start, and he's probably going to do a damn good job. And now you're talking about adding John Mateer. Now here, Josh, come back. I hope you're still listening, Josh. I'm going to defend Dave in the Baker Mayfield comment. I really am. Baker Mayfield is my least favorite athlete of all time, and I'm still going to defend Dave here. John Mateer is a better runner than Baker Mayfield is, or was at Oklahoma, but Baker's a better passer. But the way that they do things, I mean, it does look somewhat similar. The way that they play, Mateer's not afraid of contact. He kind of has an energy about him. Like, I totally get Dave's comment. So calm down over there in the chat.
Stylistically is what I meant. I'm not saying this guy is going to be, a Heisman Trophy winner and one of the best college quarterbacks ever. Just when I watch him play, the two are similar with their styles on the field. Is what I'm thinking.
They got similar auras.
They do.
The word you're looking for.
They vibe. Their vibes are together. Yes.
So, I mean, we got gotta post this. This is
All right.
all right, man. That's great. Just I heard y'all just had Jonte commit to you guys in the portal. Congratulations, Aggie Report. I know you wanted that really, really badly, but no, I'm not trying to knock Jonte. I hope he finds a proper home and it all works out for him. But man, does he hate Texas at the moment. We saw you guys not score a single offensive touchdown less than a month ago. We saw Texas DBs stick to Aggie receivers for the most part like glue. We all knew A&M had to make some type of improvements in the wide receiver room. How are you feeling about the big add-ons here so far? And talk to me about Micah Hudson a little bit. A lot of people are either very, very quick to guarantee it's a sure thing as far as Micah working out. And I'm not asking you to sit there and play devil's advocate to that. But then there's the other side who are very quick to write him off. And I don't think it's fair to do that either. So what are your kind of raw thoughts and impressions when you think about Hudson joining and then your other couple of ads?
Yeah, I kind of on a lot of things, I try to ride the middle. And obviously, listen, Micah did not. He came into Texas Tech. Everybody expected him to just walk in, day one starter, take off.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. He had 8 receptions, I think. So, I mean, I understand why people are saying, hold on now, it's not like this huge addition. He didn't do anything at Texas Tech, but I think that there were some things that kind of held him back there. I heard a little bit of injury rumors about him just in early fall camp. So I think he's a great ad in terms of what he can be and if he reaches his full potential, absolutely great ad, but he's still got to reach it. Potential is nothing if you can't reach it. So good ad, yes. Necessary ad, yes. Do I think it's a proven superstar wide receiver 1 yet? No, because he hasn't proven it. He has to prove it first. So that's where I'm at with our wide receiver room. I like the Micah Hudson edition. I really like the Mario Craver edition. I think I told you, but I did actually go to the Mississippi State game in person.
Mm-hmm.
Drove about 9 hours from College Station up to Starkville there. That was a fun trip there. I drove with Durag Ed and Sidelines, Texas A&M. And I really liked what I saw from Craver. I thought he was a really good receiver. He's fast. I think he's on the younger side, so it's, he didn't have a ton of production, but for a freshman in the SEC, especially on Mississippi State, I think he had a good amount of production, and there's something there. The one thing I think we do need is proven production, a proven guy that can come in, be a wide receiver 1, or push Noah Thomas to develop into that wide receiver 1. The primary candidates for me were Kevin Concepcion. Is it Conception or is it Concepcion? I can't.
Concepcion, I believe.
It's okay. I've heard both. I thought it was Concepcion.
It sounds way cooler, and I'm going to continue to say
it. I think Concepcion sounds cooler too. He was one, and then Nick Anderson was obviously another. Anderson just committed to LSU. So unfortunate there. But still, potentially there's a chance to add Concepcion. I think Bama is the favorite there for right now. Who actually knows at this point with the portal? But I do think we need to add proven production at wide receiver, a veteran proven production, somebody that can come in and provide some leadership, provide some competition, and really push the room to improve, because it's on the younger side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really positive start to improving the room. When you talk about adding a Jerome Miles, obviously to that room as well, a guy who should be, in my opinion, game ready coming in just based off his skill set. I'm a
little sorry to interrupt, but I'm a little hesitant there just because he is coming off. He's not going to be an early enrollee, and he is coming off.
Not early enrolling? He's not early enrolling?
No, he is not. He's also coming off an ACL injury.
But ACL was early summer, right? Or
he played versus IMG. He played in the IMG game.
Okay, well, take that back. He's going to be really good.
Like August. I think he's going to be good, but I'm just a little hesitant because it's coming off an injury like that as a freshman in the SEC, especially not being able to practice in the spring. It's just going to be a little difficult for him to get his legs under him, get his feet under him, and go. Unless he's 100% like the next, real deal or whatever, which obviously can be. But I'm a little hesitant there.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who probably isn't, getting back onto the field until early summer. So definitely not likely to be game ready. I had forgotten all about the end. I mean, film's so good, but yeah, once again, you've improved the room some and in a hurry, and there's still time to do more. Now, I will say it's all up on, Micah Hudson. What he does is all dependent on what he wants to do. If he wants to go out and get it, he has every ability to do some pretty sick things and play for a long time on Sundays. But he's got to go want it. I think, obviously you're going to have to see progression from Marcel Reed as well. Is there any other targets, not necessarily targets, is there any other position in need that you'd like to see A&M address in the portal?
Yeah, I think we need an edge. We really losing Sporton and Stewart, got to replace that, and we've had a lot of depth transfer out. So I think you need maybe one or two more in that room. I really, really want an anchor in the middle of the defensive line. That's not really a position that you'll find in the portal.
So we all need it, and it's scarce. It's hard to find.
It's scarce, yeah. So you really got to recruit it.
Lose out on Oklahoma, it hurts a little bit because the big capable bodies that we play in are kind of far and few in between there in the old portal. What about you? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I do like the freshmen that we've got coming in. I think Chase Sims is good. I think Sanders is good. I think Rink is pretty underrated. I don't know if he's got a very high floor. So we'll see.
Give Landon Rink a couple of seasons, and he's going to be like that hard-nosed, just he plays nasty, and it's going to be a problem. Because he'll put the proper weight on. He's got great energy, and he's kind of, I don't want to call him a spark plug ball, but I mean, he has an energy. I like Landon Rink's game, and
he's a leader.
Yeah, as you said, I like his upside a lot. I think he did a pretty dang good job on the defensive line and recruiting this year with this class. But you, Brother Dave, same question. Is there anywhere you'd really like to see Oklahoma target and address there in the portal?
Yeah, I mean, wide receivers still. They got Jaden Gibson coming back off a torn patella. If he can get back to where he was before the injury, very good wide receiver. Of course, Deion Burks coming back, which you referenced, was big. They picked up a Arkansas Pine Bluff commit. Got, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. We'll see how that transfers to OU. Defensive line, you said Dominic Williams. All intel out of Norman suggests he is going to be back next year. So that's a big boon on that defensive front. He was very good this season for OU's defense. I'd like to see him pick up one more defensive tackle. I think David Stone, Jaden Jackson, the two freshmen that were there last year, will continue to progress. Maybe one more guy for depth. And outside of that, they lose Bauer Sharp, the tight end, to LSU. Now, Bauer's time in Norman was interesting. He led the team in receptions, but wasn't really a fan favorite because there were some drops and some struggles. But yeah, you have to look at what went on around the guy with the team and the offense. He was never brought in to be the number one option at Oklahoma. It just happened to be that with all the injuries. He wasn't set up to do that, didn't go well, and now they need to replace that. They do have Davin Mitchell, which was the number one recruit in the country at tight end the year before last on campus. Didn't do much last year. Need him to progress. And I feel like to see another tight end brought in for depth, maybe one more tackle on the offense. And they're starting to get things where they need to be offensively. Defense is just a matter of retaining guys. I see that LSU dude saying Nick Anderson. Yeah, he played one snap for Oklahoma this year and transferred. So as far as production on the field, congrats. We didn't see a lot.
Hey, I was gonna say, listen, if you want to compare stats last year, Micah Hudson was a better take than Nick Anderson.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's he got you there, Painted Posse. He might have just ended you, to be honest. But
Listen,
Brian Kelly, you've had great success in the portal so far. Barry and Brown, Nick Anderson's a pretty impressive pool there, wide receiver wise. But you still got to play defense under that guy, something you haven't really done since his first year, which wasn't playing with his players. And so, we'll see what LSU's defense looks like. I have no doubt that Nuss will continue to improve a little bit, get better. But we're also not here to talk about you, pal. So, Gage, we're going to you, brother man. A lot of Texas fans, you know the drill. It's freakout season for recruiting/portal. Everybody's mad, pissed that we haven't made 5, 10, 15 portal acquisitions already. Everybody's panicking. We're not getting a defensive tackle. How can we let him go to Tech? Yada, yada, yada. What are your thoughts? Are you worried about Sarkisian? Are you trusting the process here and worried about the college football playoffs?
No, I think that what Sark's doing is that he builds through recruiting and through development, and then when he can dip into the portal and grab somebody that's proven with production, and that's just the position that Texas is in with the roster that he's built, and we're fortunate to be in that position. But people freaking out because we didn't get a Micah Hudson when Sark knows who the team is and he knows who he's got and he knows who he can develop. And I'm not saying Micah's not a great player. I think he's going to do fantastic things. I think he's extremely talented. But I just think that I trust in the process that's gotten us here. And I believe that that is the process, which is recruiting well and recruiting our guys and then developing them. And then on top, going and getting a guy like Adonai Mitchell. That was a huge help for us last year. I think getting those guys and kind of putting the cherry on top is a good way to go about it. And I think that that's what Sark's doing. And I also think that there's going to be another transfer portal hell season coming up after the playoff where guys are going to transfer out or, if coaches suddenly let go and programs get flipped on their heads. There may be some other big names out there that can help with Texas's roster next year. But I really feel comfortable with where Texas has recruited in the last few years and where the development of some of these guys are coming, some of the development that's coming through. So I'm pretty comfortable that we're going to have guys that may not be seeing the field right now are going to be productive next year. And we don't necessarily need to freak out and say, oh, we're losing this guy, this guy, this guy. We need to go get all the all-stars in college football and bring them on. Like, no, we have guys too that are going to have a whole nother offseason of development and be able to come in and play next year.
Yeah, great comments, man. Before I get to that, I didn't realize that Painted Posse had already moved on to baseball season. Jay Johnson's burner checking in. Maybe.
Do you mind if I provide some?
You're not winning anything under report.
I was going to say, do you mind if I provide some commentary on Texas's portal situation?
Sure, absolutely.
I was just going to say, I think the most happy college football fan is extremely miserable. So, I totally get people are going to freak out when they're not getting things the way they think they need to be done. But if I haven't been following it super closely, but if I'm noticing things correctly, I don't know if there's a single playoff team that's been killing it in the portal.
Right.
Like maybe Oregon. I don't know what they've added. Honestly, let me check.
Georgia has a lineman because they have to have offensive linemen. They're going to lose a few, and that is already a weakness of that football team. So they've made a couple of they maybe even overbids. Actually, had an interesting phone call about this earlier. Oregon is doing what they can to pull in offensive linemen, and
I heard some similar things about that. Let me check. One sec. I want to check some of the rankings, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of Oregon's number 14. They've got 4 commits. I mean, they got the tackle, the safety from Purdue, and then a tight end. I mean, I don't I just don't think the calendar right now is set up well for you to attack, for a playoff team to attack the portal the way you need to if, you know, you're trying to. And the other thing is that, like, Texas is in the playoffs. Their roster is set. It's good. Obviously, y'all are probably going to have some people leave, go to the draft, graduate, all that. So you're going to need to replace that. But it's like, you can't just, like, there's not like not that there's not a future to sell, that it's not like you can't bring a guy in unless the guy is proven to be, a superstar, because you have a good depth chart. You're one of the top teams in college football, right? Like, it's not going to be easy to just take a guy, get him on campus. You're trying to focus on Clemson. You're trying to focus on, finishing out signing day, all this stuff. Like, it's just not manageable, which is another problem with the transfer portal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, those are good points. And I mean, you really did say it, we are Texas fans, we can't win a game by 10. We can't, we turn the ball over in the red zone one time. We want a quarterback change. Should have just been one turnover, though. Quinn was sliding. And if you saw the end of the game last night, I know you saw the end of the game last night, Aggie Report, all the craziness. We should have still had the ball, which we had obviously would have scored on the next play, made that a little bit bigger of a deficit. I'll say this, Papa Kyle, I think it's pretty well known that the Matador Club is just a collection of oil businessmen who are just shelling out mega bucks to bring in recruits for Texas Tech. That is how they got Micah Hudson. I think that's pretty common knowledge. And, obviously that didn't work out. But they're not playing any games. I expect them to compete in the Big 12 here. They were a few plays away from competing in the Big 12 this past year. We'll say this, Gage. Aggie Report. Dave, we'll get to you first. Guess, do you have any comments on Texas in the portal? I know we've lost, it feels like 15 defensive linemen in the last couple of weeks. Now we really did want to hang on to Sider Mitchell, which obviously he's likely to end up at LSU, considering Bo Davis was the coach that had brought him in from New Jersey to Austin. But any thoughts or comments on Texas in the portal, Dave?
Yeah, if you're a Texas fan, don't worry about that right now. You're in the college football playoff. Be happy. This is the end goal of every single team when it gets kicked off September 1st or August 28th, whenever. Just enjoy this right now and then worry about the rest later. College football is cyclical, and more so now than maybe ever. Teams are going to go up, they're going to go down. If you lose guys and you're not back in the playoff next year, that's the way it goes. That's the way this game's designed. So stop worrying about that. Enjoy this whole thing. Enjoy playing Clemson, whatever happens. And Sarkle will reload, and they need some defensive linemen. They'll find it. You guys are in Texas. There's plenty of recruits to choose from. So just hang on. It'll be all right. They'll probably turn their focus to the portal and the attention off where it needs to be right now, which is the playoff game, when it's appropriate to do so. But just relax right now.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We've already addressed one major need, and that's in the punting game. I'm not going to say any more because I'm not going to be disrespectful towards kids that are on the roster, but we just made a pretty big upgrade there. That kid that can flip the field in a heartbeat. Now, people are freaking out because of the defensive tackle position and the situation and what we talked about earlier. You're not going to find a ton in the portal that maybe are SEC ready or SEC quality, and I hate to use those terms, but it's just a matter of fact. Like, we need bodies at the defensive tackle position as you're bringing guys in. The guys Texas in the last few years are gone 3-4 years and have got a chance to develop and learn technique and gain confidence and put on the proper weight. I will say that Justice Terry will be ready to play next year. He is one of those type of recruits. He will get a lot of run. Obviously, Dave, you saw yourself. David Stone and Jaden Jackson, two great players, a ton of run as freshmen as well. Man, Payne Posse, I'll give you credit, man. You are committed to this bit, man.
Yeah, dude.
He really is top notch. But it's a little bit concerning to me, but at the same time, like, I trust Sarkisian. I would bet anything that we sign another defensive tackle out of the portal. I don't know where it'll come from. But here's the thing: it's like, Isaiah Bond, and when did we sign A.D. Mitchell? Those came after the new year had already hit. In those cycles. And Texas will be active and very active in the portal. It will be a major plus again. He's shown the ability to address big-time team needs. You've brought in Terrence Brooks. multi-year starter, a cornerback you brought in, obviously not here anymore, but played good for Illinois this year. You talk about obviously Andrew Makuba has been huge. We've brought in many players who have had it or on this team from the portal in the last couple of years. So calm down, relax. As Dave said, as Aggie report, Gage, everybody said, Sark knows how to recruit. Sark knows how to get people into this program. He knows how to get particular fits and needs filled. And I have the utmost confidence. I don't know why would you not? We're 23-4 in the last 2 years, and we were 5-7 3 seasons ago. So chill out. It's all going to be okay. Obviously, not talking to everybody, but yeah, Aggie report. I hope Sidelines is watching. I hope he knows I love him. But it did feel good to stuff him in the blender. You guys want us to play at Kyle Field or Bluebell Olsen?
Listen. I will listen. Okay,
live there permanently.
I think it's dumb that the Texas game is being played when students aren't on campus. I'm not going to put on the tinfoil hat. I do think it's dumb. Am I allowed to say that? I think it's stupid.
You can say it.
I think students should be on campus. Like, let's not to say that it's not going to be. I mean, people are going to come back and make it a real atmosphere, but like, it just makes it easier on everybody for it to be while students are on campus. I feel like you're doing it.
I get that, but my question to you is, would you rather play Texas or would you rather play like number 2 Auburn? Like, are you just not wanting a home game at all? Almost anyone you play in the SEC is going to be a pretty big opponent. There's probably 7 or 8 teams, maybe more, that are better than us in the SEC. And so, like, is it just you don't want to get?
I'll take that over.
More. And we will be covering college basketball and Texas basketball on this content or on this channel. We will be honest. If things are hard, we will talk about it. And I think it could be a pretty hard season for our guys. Well, I mean, like, what do you want? You just don't want a conference game? We play Auburn 3 days after that, and our students aren't going to be back on campus yet. And I don't think.
Listen, man, just give us the national championship trophy already. Don't even play. Like, why play the games, right? Like, we're gonna win everything.
My confidence level heading into Reed Arena there in early January it might be a negative number, to be honest with you. So
listen, man. Listen, I totally understand it, but it's Buzz Williams is the most fickle coach I've ever followed, and I just don't understand basketball as much as I do other sports. It's never really come naturally to me in like breaking down details of the game, but I know a little bit. It's just like we just go through these weird stretches under Buzz where we look. Usually, actually, the funny thing is we're usually terrible in non-con. Like, we'll have some awful losses, and we've had some games that we've lost that we really should have won. But like, we've performed a lot better in the non-con than I expected.
Yeah.
But like last year, I mean, we had a stretch. We were a pretty good team. I mean, we won. I think it was Buzz's first NCAA tournament win here at A&M. And we lost to Vanderbilt in like the middle of the SEC slate. Like we lost to Vanderbilt away, and then we beat Tennessee at home the next week, like one of the top teams in the country.
It's college basketball for you.
Yeah, it just feels so much more pronounced with Buzz too, where we just go on these streaks of really good basketball play, and then the next week it's just fouling, turnovers, everything is sloppy, borderline unwatchable. And then the next week it's intense physical defense, making all our free throws, getting to the rim at a great clip. Like I don't know. I understand your confidence level being low, but it's a rivalry game, and Buzz Williams is incredibly unpredictable.
One thing I will say about Buzz, though, is that he seems to always gain traction late in the year. He seems to have, he seems to get hot in February and March, maybe late February through March. Y'all, like you said, though, there's a lot of, you lose 3 or 4 conference games in a row, and then you go win 5 or 6, or maybe it's 2 or 3 in a row, and then you win 5 or 6. But, yeah, we'll see. It is weird that y'all haven't had that one big non-conference blunder that you normally have. You always have a weird loss in there, or play like a Davidson or somebody a little closer than should be played. David, y'all lost
it. 2 games, I think, still.
No, Oklahoma's undefeated 10-0. They're down 5 at the half to Michigan as we speak in that tournament going on. So that could be their first L of the season. It's kind of funny. They're the exact opposite as A&M under Buzz. Porter Moser always does fantastic non-con. I think he was undefeated through it last year. And then conference play starts and the tailspin starts. So OU fans are kind of waiting for this basketball team to find their water level, even though Fears, the point guard, he's really good. He's going to be a top 10 to 15 NBA pick. That's legit. I think down low is where teams will kill Oklahoma. Michigan's doing it tonight, but they're better than I thought. But no, to answer your question, have not lost yet.
Yeah, I knew they were playing tonight. I thought y'all were still undefeated. Good luck in that second half. I do mean that, like, at least a little bit.
Thanks, bro.
It'd be cool. I think we get y'all one of the first 3 or 4 games in conference, so maybe y'all can stay undefeated until then. And we could be another skin on the wall unless Trey Johnson.
They'll probably stay undefeated.
We'll need Trey to score like double nickel or something, 55 or more.
You guys are so miserable, man. Come on.
If I have to watch,
we've had our fun football season, but I am fully prepared to just be ready for a lot of slander in college basketball, and it hurts because I love the sport. I as much as anything else, and I'm very worried about the product that we're putting out right now. And we have some dudes, but we play a lot of NBA style. One-on-one, everyone else stand around college basketball. And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just still in the dumps from the UConn game. That was a hard watch. That was a really hard watch. A game Jesus Christ, Josh. Talk about a guy that'll make you feel better about your coach. Doug Gottlieb checking in. I can't believe he got on Twitter to defend his egregious take and all that. Yeah, any slander that Doug Gottlieb catches, he deserves. Okay, and I'm a big guy on like second chances, but I just not this guy. I can't do it. I hate to say that I'm rooting against Green Bay all the time, but it's truth. I'm sure many, from judging the comments on Doug's post today, I think a lot of people feel similar to me on that. But all right, gentlemen, anything else before we get you out of here related to the portal, college football playoffs? The powerhouse Texas basketball program?
I'll just say for Oklahoma's sake, I saw a comment down there, OU gets their quarterback. Yeah, it eased a lot of fans' minds today what happened in Norman. It had to happen for Brent Venables, had to happen for Oklahoma. So now they've at least got a base to build on and start moving forward after a year that this was a disaster. I mean, Jackson Arnold, supposed to be the long-term key at quarterback for Oklahoma. The plan didn't work out. He's not going to LSU, and they had to get something positive going. Mateer, that's going to help. So now we'll see what happens. And this guy was right. Oklahoma got the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him when I watched him dust Texas Tech early in the season last year. I believe he had 4 games of over 300 yards, another game at 295. I mean, the guy's shown the ability. He's a bit electric. I know that Oklahoma fans feel better. Texas fans are writing him off already. Seen a lot of John Mateer slander and hate. A lot of who is this guy? But, there is a lot of casuals.
Look, I think the Mateer slander I've seen or OU, it's not really individual players right now. It's Brent Venables and his staff, right? You need to see it. You need to see this come to fruition and see them start winning to believe it's going to happen. So until anybody does, until we see it, I can't blame anybody for doubting it right now. It's now or never. It's do or die, all the cliche things you want to say. So if somebody has doubt, I can't blame them.
I mean, I like what you've done. I mean, as you obviously know, it's not an overnight fix. You handle, need by need, fit by fit, and you try to get the guys in there that you can. I don't know what your plan is on offense, but I can tell you're wanting to be a very fast, probably up-tempo offense just from the acquisitions that you've made. And you talk about the APB, and wow, I couldn't do that again if I tried. And Deion Burke's here. Like it's team strengths. It's going to be a fast offense, and it's going to be an offense that can probably, attack you from in a lot of different ways. Because Mateer, man, he's lightning quick. Like there's no doubt, he's very twitchy. But we'll see. Marcel Reed, another twitchy speedster. But no, I'm done. trolling. I really appreciate Josh. Even you, LSU Panda Posse, good work. That's probably the most comments from an individual we've had. In any
he needs to get a job, man. He really needs to get a job.
Yeah. Shout out, Nash. Appreciate you being here, my man. Checking it out. We're going to try to do a pregame show on Friday if we can get it in Friday morning. Texas Clemson, we'll get the usual gang in here. Hopefully it all works out. Gamer Matt, congrats on getting the quarterback. Hopefully, you have some line play to go with it in here. But yeah, if y'all haven't liked the video, please go do that. And also thank you, gentlemen, for spending some time with me on Tuesday, talking a little bit about all things college football, at least in what we're, involving our program. So thank you, guys. We'll catch you all next time. Really appreciate y'all watching. I hope everybody has a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that if we don't talk beforehand. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas.